Oh, there's Daniel. Morning, Daniel.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Good. So, yeah, doing the recording. Okay, so we're back on, the beautiful. And I asked you to sort of do a bit of research for me for today on a couple of characters, one being Marilyn Monroe and the other being Lady Di, all the things that you could find out about them there. So, do you want to start, please, Fionn? What did you find out about Marilyn Monroe?
So she was an actress.
Yeah.
And she was a model and a singer. And she was famous for being like really beautiful.
Yeah.
In like was it 1950s and early 1960s?
Yeah.
She struggled a lot with drugs and alcohol.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Good.
I think that's how she died, wasn't it, from an overdose?
Yeah, they do believe there's various conspiracy theories. About whether she did that herself or whether somebody else helped her to take the drugs overdose. Okay, yeah. Thank you. Nadine, what did you find out about Marilyn Monroe? Anything different?
That she didn't like to cook, well, she couldn't cook. And that when she died, they found out that her clothes were worth $1,267,500.
Wow. Give me that. Give me that value again. So this is obviously in dollars. So
I'll just do it in the numbers because I'm not really good with my numbers, my actual saying. 1267.
1267. Yeah.
500.
500. Wow. Yeah, that is one. Yeah, basically that is 1.2, isn't it? Yeah, million. You can just knock them off. You just that. We can just go to 1.26. Yeah, that is a lot of money, isn't it? Flipping heck. How do you actually get clothes worth that value?
I wish.
Did either of you find out the names of any of her husbands that she was married to?
Joe DiMaggio.
That's it. Yeah. That was husband number one. And do you know what he? Do you know what he was? Nadine, did you find that out?
Wasn't he an actor as well?
Sorry, wasn't he?
An actor, or like so he had something to do with fame.
No, he did. Did you find out, Fionn?
No, not what he did, like as a job.
Oh. So I think, Nadine, you might be thinking of husband number two, who we'll go into in a little minute. Yeah, Joe DiMaggio. He was a great American hero. Regarded as that sort of thing. Baseball player. And very famous. And again, so they become a bit like, if you think about, and I know I'm going into maybe even things that are out of date for you, but you know how we had the sort of the Beckhams, you know, and when he married Victoria from what's her face, the Spice Girls, he was still sort of the peak of his football career. So you had this sort of you know, somebody from the pop world, that sort of social media type of things, and the great sports personality coming together, and so they became like a big sort of power couple. That's what Marilyn Monroe and Joe DiMaggio did. They seem to symbolise the American dream for a lot of Americans. Okay, right. And who was husband number 2? Theon, did you get that?
I'm not sure.
No, okay. Nadine, did you find out? Because I think this is who you might be thinking of when you mentioned about the acting, because the second one is connected to acting.
I don't know the name. I only knew that first one.
Yeah, okay. So husband number 2
Arthur
is...
Miller.
Yeah, that's it. Yes. Yeah, Arthur Miller. Oops, can't spell. Three of his most famous plays, Death of a Salesman, View from the Bridge, and The Crucible. Crucible is one about the Salem witch hunts. And again, this is obviously quite different with Marriage Number 2. Now, by her second marriage here, Marilyn Monroe, she really wanted to be taken seriously as an actress, and she moved out. I mean, she had been in the Hollywood movies, all that sort of stuff, but they were just giving her the same kind of role, the kind of the dumb blonde, that idea. And she wanted to be taken seriously in acting. And so she moved to New York, where there was a new kind of theatre company just springing up, which had Ben Gazzara, Arthur Miller, sort of real heavyweights in the acting world, and people who are going to go on to be seriously sort of well-known, world-renowned for their acting skills, either on stage or as a playwright director themselves. And she kind of joined this company just to sort of learn her trade a bit more and to be taken seriously, and ended up marrying Arthur Miller. So she went from kind of great sports hero to an intellectual heavyweight sort of thing. And it kind of shows you that those sort of twin personalities maybe at work within her. She knew that she had to play the game a bit to try and get on in movies and all that sort of stuff. But then when she was in there, she tried to create a kind of sort of serious role for herself too. And it did end up, quite, as you know, quite tragically here. You probably will be familiar with, the famous image of Marilyn Monroe standing over the hydrant on the pavement as the subway goes underground, and the skirts blowing up sort of thing. That's really one of the sort of most iconic sort of 1950s photo snaps sort of thing that she's synonymous with. And then also singing Happy Birthday to President Kennedy. Did you manage to see the clip on YouTube or not? Did that work for you?
Oh yeah, it did load up.
Yeah. What was your reaction to that? What did you think?
It was quite, I don't know, I couldn't imagine that happening like today.
Yeah, can you imagine that happening for Boris Johnson?
Yeah.
Did you manage to watch it, Nadine? Yeah.
Yeah,
And how did you react to it?
about the same. Like, it's a bit of a oof.
Now it is a bit kind of cringy. I mean, and the stories go. I mean, Kennedy himself was a kind of notorious womanizer as president, and it was meant to be the case as well that Kennedy and Marilyn Monroe have an affair. She's one of many that he has when in office, sort of thing. But again, it's something that she is synonymous with and very famous for. And then if we leap down, to Lady Diana. So, what's your knowledge of Lady Diana? What did you find out about her then in your research? We'll start with you this time, Fionn. What did you find out about Diana Spencer?
So she was the first wife of Prince Charles
Mm-hmm.
and the mother of William and Harry.
Yeah.
She was really famous with the people, wasn't she? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
public really liked her, and she did a lot of charity work. But
Yeah.
she wasn't very like welcomed into the royal
No, I
family.
mean this is the this comes kind of a bit later. We get this sense that yeah, she's still very much an outsider within the royal family.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she gets that sort of title given to her, she's the Queen of Hearts sort of thing because of what she does. As you say, a lot of charity work
Yeah.
at home and abroad. I mean, she's involved a lot with, obviously there's the Prince Charles Trust sort of thing, and that was taken off the ground then when he marries her. So I think it was a fairly early in its days, and there was a lot of work going on with the homeless over here, unemployed, and she wasn't scared to get involved with it. I mean, she got involved. At the time, AIDS, that epidemic that was sort of kind of sweeping the country, the sexual disease, then it sort of terrifying everybody. She was not too scared to get involved in that, in charity work. And again, I say at home, it was those who were kind of, at the bottom of the heap sort of thing, she would very much get involved with. So yeah. And again, if we just pop over here, what you said there, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger so you can see, if I zoom in, compare and contrast two images here. Prince Charles and I've got them here, obviously, side by side, exact same photo shoot. You can see Prince Charles and Lady Diana Spencer were touring India together, and you're at the Taj Mahal, one of those kind of iconic spots in India. And if we look first at the Lady Diana one, what does that photograph say to you? What does it scream out to you? And that goes to anybody, Daniel, Fionn, and Nadine. You make your comment. Feel free. So that picture of Lady Diana on her own, what does it say to you?
That like she doesn't need anyone else, kind of thing. Like she can do things herself.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. Oops. Yeah, we could have that. Yeah, and we could think about it. Independence of mind. She's on her own. Yeah. Fionn, what about you? What do you think?
I was going to say independence as well. Not too sure.
Now remember, she's there with her husband. Think about it. Here we have William and Kate, exact same location. What's different about this image to the Diana one?
Oh, that Charles isn't in the picture with her.
No, and don't you think he should be?
Yeah, you'd think like a normal couple. You'd think.
Yeah. Oops. Don't need any shouty capitals. It's that sense of, isn't it? She is isolated. She's on her own. I mean, again, it's if you do it, I don't want to sort of keep blowing up. But again, you can see it. It could be that sense of unhappiness too. I mean, it's one person on their own. Whereas you can see that this is a couple. This is and it's a royal tour. You could say, I mean, she's actually did that. I mean, to become, you could be even more sort of brutal about it. It's the fact, you know, that her husband's not there. You could think about. You could think about, you know, a sense of abandonment. I mean, think about, you imagine for a moment, right? Imagine yourselves married into a royal family there. Just project that thought for a moment, yeah? And you're off on the royal tour. So you go off on the royal tour as a couple, yeah? And so you've got to do all these photo shoots, as you know, it's part and parcel of it, which might be a bit of a drag. How do you think you would feel if you were compelled to go out there in front of all the paparazzi on your own without your husband? Your husband makes it perfectly clear that he doesn't want to be in the picture with you. How's that going to make you feel?
Like, kind of alone, I guess.
Yeah. Anything else? Nadine? Adding that kind of concept, and you know that your husband says no, and again he's also, you know, in theory you're meant to one day be Queen of England, yeah, that sort of thing, or the UK or Great Britain, you know, and your husband is a future king, and he tells you, no, I don't want to be seen in public with you.
Like degrade him.
Yeah, good. That's what. Yeah, see, yeah. Think about that. I mean, because she's compelled, because somebody's got to do this photo shoot. And this doesn't happen just as a one-off. It happens quite a few times. And again, you know, and I mean, all the other stories that go along with her, what she was suffering from at that time as well. So you kind of think about that in contrast with William and Kate. What do we see a picture of there? Fionn, how's this picture contrasting here with William and Kate? What's different about this? If we think about, you know, what we said there about for Diana, that was, you know, a sense of being abandoned, isolated, degrading. What does the photograph that Will and Kate posed for in the exact same location? And he did it for the reason that it was to kind of get rid of this one from the public mind. And he did that to kind of honour his mother. Because if you look closely, you see it's just an opposite angle, but Kate is sitting very much the same way as Diana was in that image, same clasping of the hands. It's just that the legs are tucked the opposite way, the opposite angle.
It like shows them as being like really close, and they just look really happy.
Yeah, good. So they get that sort of sense of closeness. Nadine, what do you see?
Like they're happy.
Yeah. So they're happy, and again, we can think of as well, you know, that sort of sense of sort of, you know, unity. They are a couple, isn't it? That sort of idea builds into this too. So we've got all of that. Okay, thank you. Now if we just zoom back out a bit, because it's way too big now. Back to one. Right, now, what else did we find out about Lady Di? If I come to you now, Nadine, what did you find out about Lady Di when you researched her?
I found out that she cheated and that she was suicidal, had eating disorders and like mental health issues.
Yeah, good. And in many ways, they behave just like, I suppose, like an unroyal couple, you know, just an ordinary couple sort of thing in that respect. And the problem was that, you know, it was there for the whole public to see, kind of warts and all. So I think all this stuff was normally sort of swept under the carpet, as you could imagine, in the royal household. But here it was becoming more and more obvious with every sort of passing year, sort of thing. Also. There was this, she also had this really sort of fractious relationship with press here. The paparazzi kind of drove her nuts. And again, it was always this idea she wanted to protect her children, that they could have a sort of normal life as possible, sort of thing, which is going to be well nigh impossible, as you can imagine, in a royal family, sort of thing. But there was this in the background too, and of course that sort of irony in how she dies, sort of thing, in later life. Okay. Good. So we've got these. Do you see any link? Why do you think Duffy then would choose to include Marilyn Monroe and Princess Diana in this poem that she's writing about? Beautiful. Any ideas? Anything you want to speculate about? Don't you think maybe as well with the other ones here, we've got women who have been portrayed in a kind of tragic light, both kind of built up again, just like Cleopatra and Helen of Troy, through their beauty, they're kind of built up to be these icons, only to be pulled back down again and destroyed by men, principally. That sort of idea, and that you get that sort of linkage coming through. With all the characters contained within the poem.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for agreeing there, Fionn. Thank you very much. That was good to hear. Right, so we're going to pick it up now from the section of the poem which deals with Marilyn Monroe. We've got this stanza here. So we've got the camera loved her, close up, backlit, adored the waxy pouting of her mouth, her sleepy, startled gaze. She breathed the script on her little voice. They filmed her famous, filmed her beautiful. Guys fell in love. Dames copied her. An athlete licked the raindrops from her fingertips to quench his thirst. She married him. The US whooped. What are you getting a sense of in that first stanza with regards to the personality, the character of Marilyn Monroe? If I can go to you first, Fionn, what do you take from there? What do you think we should annotate? What intrigues you in that opening stanza?
Like how it says an athlete licked the raindrops from her fingertips to quench his thirst.
Oh, right, yeah.
And she married him. It's like it calls him an athlete. It doesn't like say his name, so it kind of makes you think it's for like status reasons, maybe. Yeah,
good. Good. Yeah, that works for me. Arrow, and I'm going to pen. So, yeah. Yeah, there is space this side. Good. Oops. Oops. And what does it seem to be the marriage of here? If we think about, you say he's defined by what he is. He's an athlete. So she's been regarded as being somebody beautiful, the epitome of beauty, yeah, sort of thing. What does the athlete then represent, do you think? We've got beauty on the one hand, and we've got what on the other?
Like strength.
Yeah, good. So we've got that idea of physical strength here, and again the physical strength obviously being male quality. Yeah, and it goes into that kind of stereotypes, isn't it? That she's beautiful, that sort of thing. Very good. Now we do have, and you picked out, go for a different colour here, just to make it stand out a bit. She married him. That kind of echoes a famous line from a work of literature. Anybody want to hazard a guess at what work of the book that kind of hints at? It's the famous, I think it's almost like closing line of a book, and it goes, "And reader, I married him." Nobody wanna stab a guess? No.
I'm not sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's an echo of sort of the ending of Jane Eyre, which again is seen as it's a sort of gothic, but again it's regarded as a sort of great love story as well of Jane Eyre and Mr. Rochester. So with that, she married him, that sense of great romance. And again, it's not just, this is not a private marriage, is it? This is a very public marriage, because there we have, don't we, the US whooped, yeah? So this is a marriage for the nation, yeah? This is, it's again, that I mentioned before, that idea of representing the American dream, yeah? Okay, and then earlier in this, if we look at some of the phrases that are used by Duffy here, we have the camera, the camera loved her. She's backlit, waxy pouting of her mouth, the sleepy, startled gaze. What kind of image has been created of Marilyn Monroe here, would you suggest? Nadine, do you want to have a go first? What image?
Like the way that I don't know, it's like cliche, like that's what everyone kind of looks like.
Yeah, good. Yeah, good. Yeah. Anything else you want to say there about that, Nadine?
Like it's showing how what a girl should be doing for it, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, again, it is, it's that sort of highly sort of stereotypical view, of feminine beauty sort of thing as well, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Fiona, do you want to add anything? What do you think about those comments that are made by Duffy?
Like, she kind of sounds like she's in a bit of a daze.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Like sleepy, startled gaze, and like low voice. It's like she's just kind of doing whatever she's told to do.
Yeah. So we can think about that sort of, as we know about that sort of drugged illusion, under a spell, and that sort of thing. Yeah, and again, the fact that she's got a startled gaze makes her sound a little bit like what? Oops. Does it not create an image in your mind? Startled gaze. What do you normally, that it says that startled gaze. What do we normally associate with a sort of maybe startled gaze?
Like a baby.
Maybe a baby, yeah. Anything else? I'm thinking maybe something non-human.
Like a deer, maybe? Like an animal?
Yeah. Good. You know, it is that kind of animalistic kind of image, isn't it? Oops. And again, oops, it brings in this sort of idea. Oops, where's that gone? Right, move that up. Oop. Yeah, cool. That's what's happened. Those two get merged, right? So yeah, I mean, again, if you think about that sort of startled gaze, and as you said there, Fionn, about the deer sort of thing, that takes us into the idea of, you know, predator and prey, and it sort of taps in to that whole sort of iconography of Marilyn Monroe and how she was treated, sort of, you know, chewed up and sort of spat out and destroyed by the movie industry and whatnot. Good. We've got the waxy pouting of her mouth again. In some respects, we can think of that as being oops. The idea of it meant to be it's like a sensual image, or is it just oops? Is it that idea of maybe just playing to that kind of male fantasy, the, you know, the pouting lip sort of thing? Okay, good. You can also think about things as well. I mean, there's just things that sort of maybe sort of bring it a bit darker. The idea of being backlit, and again, you think about the sheerness of the dresses that she wore and whatnot. You know, by being backlit, that would highlight her figure. And make, you know, a figure pretty visible in various situations, sort of thing. So there's that idea of it being kind of voyeuristic and, you know, and really sort of taking hold of her and consuming her in all different ways. And it carries on. They filmed her harder till her hair was platinum, her teeth gems, her eyes sapphires, pressed by a banker's thumb. She sang to camera one, gushed at the greased up lens, her skin investor's gold, her fingernails mother of pearl, her voice champagne to sip from her lips. A poet came, found her wondrous to behold, and she married him. The whole world swooned. Right, now if we look at the language being used here, what do you notice is a bit of a theme in this second verse in relation to Marilyn Monroe? What do you notice is a common theme within the language? Do you notice anything, Nadine?
Like everything that he's describing is like really powerful.
It can be. If I just begin to highlight a couple of things here. So we've got platinum. We have gems. We have sapphires. What kind of connections, what sort of connotations have been made with Marilyn Monroe now?
Like rich.
Yeah, it's materialistic things, isn't it? For like wealth. Yeah. Yeah. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Okay. That's it. So, And so it is that idea of being valued in that sort of material wealth now. It's platinum, gems, sapphires, and we then also have the reference to the banker's thumb and her skin, investor's gold. Fionn, what is being suggested about Marilyn Monroe and how she's been treated now? We've got the reference to the banker, the investor's gold. What do you think might be being suggested by Duffy here now? How is Marilyn Monroe being treated?
Like she's an object, like all
Good.
those.
Yeah. Almost like, and you think about it as a commodity here, investors, she's become a brand, isn't it? We're familiar with that now. It's that idea of her being sort of, branded, sold, and exploited here, isn't it? And it's all those things. Again, we see more and more of that within that verse as well. Because we've got the mother of pearl, again, to do with wealth, to do with material value. The champagne from her lips. Okay, and then the poet that is just to confirm again that is the Arthur Miller reference. Okay, and so we can see she goes from an athlete, from a sportsman to a poet. And again, he found a wonderful spoon and she married him. So again, that repetition, she married him, she married him. And there we can begin to think about it, can't we? This is like we can think here now that this is about life repeating, isn't it? She got married to the athlete, now to the poet. And it's different sort of aspects of kind of, I suppose, masculinity. Before she's gone for the physical, it's something different. It's intellectual qualities. It's been suggested to you rather than the physicality, that sort of stereotype we had to begin with. Okay, and by now, not just America whipped. It's now the whole world. The whole world swooned, and again, still seen in that sort of romantic language, romantic style. If you swoon, what do you do, Fionn? If you swoon,
it's like I know what it is, but I don't know how to describe it. It's like
if we were in the room right now in a classroom, I'd say, okay, can you swoon for me, Fionn?
Yeah. You know how to do it, but like,
yeah. Nadine, what does swoon mean to you?
I have not a clue. I thought it was like when someone tries to hit you and you duck out the way.
Yeah. No, not quite. Again, if you swoon, it's that, and it really is kind of over the top. That way you see ladies who sort of go fainting and they'll put the back of the hand up to the forehead and they kind of collapse to the floor, go, oh my goodness, and they just kind of faint. It's that idea. It's the world's breath is taken away. That sort of idea. You know, it's that idea about it. You know, and she's gone. And again, just like we had in shopping, where it goes from, you know, the local to the sort of international to global sort of thing. Oops. And we get that idea, that image of her, that selling of her, that branding of her, yeah, you know, is now gone global. Okay. And so it continues with dumb beauty. She slept in an eye mask, naked, drugged, till the maid came, sponged at her puffy face, painted the beauty on in beige, pinks, blues. Then it was coffee, pills, booze. Frank on the record player, it was put on the mink, get in the studio car. Somebody big was watching her, white fur, mouth at the mic, under the lights. Happy birthday to you, happy birthday, Mr. President. The audience drooled. Now the imagery, it becomes much kind of darker, and it shows this sort of downward spiral of our life. Yeah. Now various points going on here in this section. So it's down again. We can see this now where it was. You know, her beauty was in this sort of cliche before. Now she's referred to as dumb beauty. She's drugged, and her beauty now has to be painted on in beige, pinks, and blues. That really beginning to highlight, isn't it, that the beauty now has become artificial. Yeah, that idea of it being painted on beauty, you know, it's become a mask, isn't it? A face that she presents to the world, sort of thing. But there's differences now, isn't it? You know, her face is puffy from the excess of the life she's leading. We also see that now it's on that diet of coffee, pills, and booze to get her through the day. Anybody care to stab a guess at who the Frank is? That's referred to as Frank on the record player.
Is it Frank Sinatra?
It is indeed somebody else whom she was kind of linked with. And of course, Frank Sinatra, again, kind of well documented as well. He kind of hung out with some of the mafia mob sort of thing, and Marilyn Monroe begins to have connections with them too. And one of the stories is that it's the mob that get, you know, the mafia that had Marilyn Monroe bumped off in the end because she's just becoming too much of a liability and knows too much about, you know, the goings on and whatnot. And then all the other things that she's kind of famous for, you know, having the big mink coats on, that sort of thing. And then obviously the reference to President Kennedy that we mentioned earlier on. And the audience, notice before we've had US whooped, the world swooned. The audience now is referred to as drooling. What kind of image does that create in your minds with the audience drools? Can I ask you first, Nadine? How do you react to that image?
Is that like they're really interested?
Well, if you drool, what do you do if you drool?
Like it's over something, like it's either because you like it.
You can. I mean, I'd have to say, I don't think it's a very flattering image to portray. What does a dog do when it drools?
Slobber everywhere.
Yeah, isn't it? It's slobber everywhere. And so what's that making the audience seem like by describing them that way, Nadine?
Like animals.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah, it's that. Yeah, it's that, and it's taken on, and it's degrading the whole thing now. That's taking place here. So it then carries on to finish off this section, and that'll get us rather neatly to the end of the poem here, or at the end of the section today on Marilyn Monroe. They filmed on deep, dumb, what they couldn't use on the cutting room floor. Filmed more, quiet please, action cut, quiet please, action cut, quiet please, action cut, till she couldn't die when she died, couldn't get older. Elle couldn't stop saying the lines or singing the tunes. The smoking cop who watched as he zipped her into the body bag noticed her strong resemblance to herself, the dark roots of her pubic hair. Really unglamorous, unedifying, isn't it, end to her life here. And the things that we just quickly tease out before we break, it is this repetition of her life. It is just this one endless cycle on a treadmill here. Until that sort of, the only person who's there. And you think about it, that she's had millions adore her. She's, at the end, all you've got is a solitary smoking cop who watched her zipped into a body bag. It's that kind of undignified exit from the world. Oops. And even, highlighting in the end, everything is kind of look false about her in the end. Yeah, isn't it? That one, it's the dark roots. Yeah, showing what it's her real self shown only in death. And again, it's in a pretty sort of vulgar image that it's seen as. Okay. Oops, wrong one. Don't want that. Go. Pen. Color. So, yeah. So, yeah, so we've got that sort of deliberate, and again, there's no dignity for her death there, sort of thing. Okay. Right. Well, that takes us to the end of today's lesson. Okay. What we'll do tomorrow is we'll finish this poem off. We'll look at the Lady Diana section, and then just to give you a heads up, oops, page back. Just to give you a heads up on what we're doing next. Then, yeah, we're going to be looking at exam style question in relation to the poems that we'll set up this week, and you'll be able to complete for me next week. Okay. So thank you, and I will see you all again tomorrow.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks. Thanks, Daniel.